Dear students, in the last class you had studied about electric circuit and the components of electric circuit and the symbols which are used to denote that components to draw an electric circuit. Before that you had studied about electric current and electric potential or potential difference. Today in this class let us study the relationship between electric current and electric potential. So how the electric current and potential difference is related to each other. Yes, in earlier class you had studied that current flows in a conductor when a potential difference is maintained across its end. That means in an electric circuit, current is going to flow only when potential difference is applied in across the ends of the conductor, that is by using a battery. So if there is no potential difference applied, then there is no current flowing in the conductor. Okay, so and also you'll know that as the potential difference is increased, for example, if 3 volt battery, if you increase to 9 volt battery, then the potential difference has increased. So here current in the circuit also increases, yeah, because potential difference. So 9 volt which provides more electric current compared to the 3 volt battery. So here you can see how it is related. So as the potential difference is been increased, what happened here? The Yes, as the potential difference has been increased, the electric current also has been increased. Okay, so the amount of current passing through the conductor depends upon the potential difference. Yeah, the amount of current passing through the conductor is depending upon potential difference which is applied. So this relation is given in the form of a law. So in 1826, a German scientist, George Simon Ohm, by his experiment, he found a relationship between the potential difference and current in a conductor. Okay, so this relationship between this electric current and potential difference was stated in a form of a law, and this law is known as Ohm's law. Okay, which was given by Simon Ohm, and the name is given as Ohm's law. So what this states, what is the statement of Ohm's law? Let us study now. According to Ohm's law, the current flowing in a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference. Okay, so what is the statement? It states that current through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference. Yes, but in a conductor the temperature should remain constant. Okay, once again let us state Ohm's law now. According to Ohm's law, the current flowing in a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends, provided the physical conditions and the temperature of the conductor remain constant. Okay, so here the temperature remains constant. That time what happens? Electric current is directly proportional to potential difference. Okay, so where V is the potential difference, I is the current, and R is the resistance. Yes, here you can see it can be written mathematically in this way, that is V is directly proportional to I. Yes, V is directly proportional to I, Therefore, V by I is equal to constant. So when the proportionality sign is removed, there comes equal sign and the constant, that is the constant is given by resistance R. This constant is nothing but the resistance of the conductor. Okay, so V by I is equal to R. That means V is equal to I into R. Okay, so this resistance, okay, what is resistance then? Yes, it is the property of a conductor which resists or opposes the flow of electric current. That means charges, flow of electrons, right? It is the property of a conductor. So this opposition or obstruction offered by a conductor to the passage of electrons is called as resistance. Okay, what is resistance? The opposition or obstruction offered by a conductor to the passage of electrons is called as resistance. Yeah, it is one property of a conductor where it resists or opposes the flow of charges, flow of electrons, okay, through the conductor. So here, which can be given, resistance R is equal to, where I will be in the denominator, so R is equal to V divided by I. So now what is the SI unit of resistance, where V is potential difference, therefore the SI unit of potential difference is volt and I is electric current, its unit is ampere, therefore SI unit of resistance is equal to volt per ampere, or it is given as ohm, because to honor the scientist, this unit is given as ohm. And the symbol of ohm you can see here, where it is read as omega. Okay, it is a symbol omega. So SI unit of resistance is volt per ampere or ohm. You have to remember both the units. Okay. Yes, next is the definition of unit. How can we define the SI unit of resistance? Yes, SI unit of resistance. So the resistance in a conductor is said to be 1 ohm if 1 ampere current flows through it when a potential difference of 1 volt is applied across the ends of the conductor. Once again I'll repeat. The resistance of a conductor is said to be 1 ohm if 1 ampere of current flows through a conductor when a potential difference of 1 volt is applied across the ends of a conductor. So if you remember this, 1 ohm equal to 1 volt divided by 1 ampere, then easily you can state the definition of 1 ohm. Once again, 1 ohm, the resistance of a conductor is said to be 1 ohm if 1 ampere of current flows through it when a potential difference of 1 volt is applied across the ends of the conductor. Okay, so here mathematically it is given, that is V equal to IR, potential difference is equal to electric current into resistance. So this is how it is mathematically proved. Okay, so now let us study what is the causes of resistance, why the resistance is caused in an electric conductor. Yes, Yell had studied that all metals have large number of free electrons, yeah, which are moving in a randomly in all possible directions. So thus there is no net flow of electrons in some particular direction. It is moving in all the direction and hence there is no current flow through the metal. Yes, Here you can see in this picture, right, where this symbols indicates the free electrons. You can see here the positive ions. Positive ions are fixed where it is not moving, but here the electrons are moving freely. These are the free electrons which are moving in all directions, which are in random motion, we can call. Okay, so in its own path. Okay, so during this, in this metal wire, there is no current flow now because there is no potential difference applied. So when there is no potential difference, so the number of electrons, large number of free electrons which are moving freely. So in this free electrons during their random motion, what happens? They collide with each other. Not only with electrons, and also they are going to collide with positive ions which are fixed there. Okay, how this positive ion, it has become positive because it is formed due to the loss of electrons. These positive ions are formed because of the loss of electrons. Okay, so here these free electrons during the random motion collide with each other and also with the positive ions. Okay, you can see in this picture A, right, when there is no potential difference is applied, how the this electrons and positive ions, how the electrons are moving freely in the random motion, you can see here. Okay, now in the second case, you see when a potential difference is applied. So when a potential difference is applied at the ends of the metallic conductor, you can see here. Now the potential difference is applied at the ends of the conductor. So what happens now? Here the electrons start flowing from negative terminal towards the positive terminal. You can see the motion of the electrons now. Here you can see dotted with the arrow mark. This denotes the electron. So now the electron starts flowing from negative terminal of a battery towards the positive terminal. That means here the electrons movement is from negative towards the positive, but the electric current flows from higher potential, that is towards the positive terminal. Electric current flows conventionally from higher potential towards the lower potential. Okay, so that is from positive to negative. So now during this motion of the electron, so when the potential difference is applied, here the electron starts moving in particular direction, that is from negative towards the positive. So when this potential difference is applied, the electron starts drifting and conventional current flows from the higher potential towards the lower potential. So during this directional drift, the electrons collide with each other as well with the fixed positive ions. So what happens here? During this motion of the electrons, when the potential difference is applied, it is going to collide with each other and also with the positive ions. So what happens here? This collision gives rise to certain opposition. So here it is going to, during its movement, with the same speed it will be. When there is a collision, what happens? Its speed decreases. So here there is a obstruction here. Yeah, there is a obstruction we call. So this collision gives rise to the collision. Yes, this collision gives rise to certain opposition or obstruction to the drift of electron. So this opposition is commonly called as resistance. This opposition during the movement of electron, when the potential difference is applied, this opposition or this collision, what happens in the electric conductor or a wire, if we call. So this opposition is called as resistance. Okay, so here there is a where the positive ions are going to resist the flow of electrons because of collision which is going to take place here. So this opposition is called as resistance of a conductor. and it is not the same. The resistance is not the same for all the conductors. So it depends on nature of the conductor. Yes, you all know that a good conductor where it is having low resistance. Okay, here we call it as good conductor because it is having low resistance, and insulators which is having very high resistance. There is more obstruction in case of insulators, due to which the current flow is not easy. Okay, so this is about the causes of resistance. Now let us sum up, that is what is resistance of a conductor. You can see how the resistor is denoted by a symbol in the last class in the electric circuit components. There also I had explained this is a resistor symbol. Okay, so you can see the resistor here. So these resistors are used in an electric circuit. So if you can see it in the board of a TV board, or you can see it in the mobiles also. Okay, so inside in the electric board where these resistors are used. Okay, so what is resistance? It is the property of a substance because of which they obstruct the flow of charge through them. Okay, you have studied about SI unit. The SI unit of resistance is ohm. Okay, next, conductors have very low resistance while insulators have infinite resistance. Okay. Okay, materials with zero or negligible resistance are known as superconductors. Okay, so where the material which is having zero resistance or it is negligible, very small, that kind of materials are called as superconductors. Okay, so next, let us study on what factors this resistance of a conductor depends. What are the factors the resistance of a conductor depends? So, the first, it is depending on length of the wire. Resistance of a conductor is depending on length of a wire. That means, if we take an example here, I'll just take an example here. I'll consider a copper wire. Yes, here this length is L and the length here is 2L. Okay. So here if you compare, both are of copper wire and here the length of this wire is L and here it is 2L. So here what happens? Number of collision. As the length of the wire increases, what happens? Number of collision also increases. So due to which here the resistance also increases. Yeah. So here the collision is less compared to the wire in the second case. So the collision is more here. So your resistance also will be more. That means resistance is depending on length of the wire. Okay, both are made up of copper, but the length is more. As the length of the wire increases, resistance also increases. Okay, so both are of same thickness. Remember, both the wire of same thickness, only the length has been increased. In this case, what happened? As the length of the wire increased, here the number of collision increases, due to which resistance also increases. So we can conclude that resistance is depending on length of the wire. How it is depending? It is directly proportional to length. Here you can see resistance is directly proportional to length. So it means longer wire has more resistance as compared to shorter wire. Okay. Next, second, it is depending on area of cross section. Yes, area of cross section. So if you consider the wire, you consider two wires of same length, okay, here the thickness is different. So here it is thin wire compared to this. So your area of cross section is more in the second case. Okay, both are of same length. Area is more in the second wire. So here what happens? For the collision here, the electrons are not free to move. But in case as the area increases, what happens? The electrons can move freely where it is having more space to for the movement of electrons. So in these two cases, as the area of the wire increased, what happened? The electrons are free to move. That means resistance, as the area increases, resistance going to decrease, right? So here the resistance is more because area is less. As the area is less, resistance is more. As the area is more, resistance is less. So that means resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. Yeah, resistance is inversely proportional to. So inversely proportional to means area is in the denominator, right? R is inversely proportional to 1 by A. That means R is inversely proportional to area. Okay. So it means that thin wire are more resistive than a thick wire. Thin wires are having more resistance, but thick wires are having less resistance. Yes, you all understood how resistance, what are the factors on which resistance depend? The first factor, that is, it is depending on length of the wire. Yes, how it depends on length? It is directly proportional to length. That means that as the length of the wire increases, resistance also increases. Okay, longer wire has more resistance compared to the shorter wire. Next, second one, resistance is, second factor is, it is depending on area of cross section. Yes, how it is depending on area? It is depending inversely proportional to, resistance is inversely proportional to. That means thin wire is having more resistance compared to the thick wire, because here the electron movement is congested. But in the second case, as the area increases, so there is no more space for the electrons to move little bit freely compared to the thin wire. Okay, so as the area decreases, resistance increases. As the area increases, resistance decreases. Okay, so it is inversely proportional. Area increases means resistance is going to, as the area increase, resistance decrease. As the area decreases, resistance increases. This is the relation between resistance and area. So mathematically, this, if we just combine, that is R was directly proportional to L and R is inversely proportional to area. If we remove the proportionality sign, we are going to get a constant which is called as resistivity. So this symbol is read as rho, R-H-O, rho. Okay, so R is equal to a constant, that is resistivity. I'll explain what is resistivity later. So resistance R is equal to rho into L divided by A, where L is length, A is area of cross section of the wire. Okay, so this is the factors on which resistance depend. So R is equal to rho into L by A. By combining both this, R is directly proportional to L, R is inversely proportional to area. Therefore, R is R proportionality sign L divided by A. So, here mathematically R is equal to rho into L divided by A, where rho is the resistivity of the wire. Okay, so what is resistivity now? You can see resistivity is equal to R, that is resistance, into area divided by length. So this area will move here and the length will move below here. So we are going to get the resistivity formula. So resistivity is equal to resistance of the conductor into area of the conductor divided by length of the conductor. So we can find the resistivity of the material of the wire. Okay, so what is resistivity? It is the resistance. Resistivity is the resistance offered by a unit length and unit area of cross section of wire. So what is resistivity? It is the resistance offered by. Resistivity is the resistance offered by unit length and unit area of cross section of the wire. Okay, so if you consider unit length and unit area of cross section, the resistance offered for this unit area and unit length is called as resistivity. Okay, the SI unit of resistivity, if you see, the SI unit of resistivity, that is the unit of resistance is ohm and the unit of area is meter square. So unit of length is meter. So you know that here meter and meter is going to get cancelled. So what remains? That is the SI unit, or that is ohm meter is the SI unit of resistivity. Okay, the SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. Yes, once again, what is resistivity? It is the resistance offered by a unit length and unit area of cross section of the wire. So the SI unit is ohm meter. So how it depends? The value of this resistivity depends on nature of the material. Okay, resistivity depends on nature of the material. It means that the resistivity of copper is different for resistivity of aluminium. That means it is different for different material. It depends on nature of the material. For copper wire, the resistivity you can see that is 1.62 into 10 raised to minus 8. In the same way, silver, it is 1.60 into 10 raised to minus 8. Aluminium, the resistivity is 2.63 into 10 raised to minus 8. Iron, 10.0 into 10 raised to minus 8. Nichrome wire, where it is 100 into 10 raised to minus 6. Glass, that is 10 raised to 10 to 10 raised to 14. Rubber, 10 raised to 13 to 10 raised to 16. So looking at this table, what did you understand here? Here you can see good conductors, right? Silver, copper, aluminium. So where these are the insulator, glass, rubber. Look at the resistivity of this. What happened? Here, in case of good conductors, the resistivity is less, very, very less. So for good conductors, the resistivity is less. For insulators, the resistivity is more. So here the resistivity depends on nature of the material. Okay, so it is different for different material of wire. It is not the same for all the wires. It is different for different material. So you have to remember some of this resistivity. So value of resistivity of few materials are given in the table here. Okay, only few materials I have given. So you can see in your textbook there are some extra resistivity of the different materials have been given. Okay, so next, difference between resistance and resistivity. Now you'll have in your mind that whether resistance and resistivity is one and the same. No. Okay, never. Resistance is not same as resistivity. Okay, here I have considered the copper wire. I will consider the copper wire. Here you can see the two copper wires. Here the length I'll consider it as L, and here it is 2L. Okay. Now in the first case and the second case, you can see the length is different, right? First the length of the copper wire is L, and it is the second wire, it is 2L. So now resistance, if you see, resistance of this wire is less, and here as the length increases, what happens? Resistance also increases. So here resistance is less and here resistance is more, right? Because resistance is depending on length of the wire. So both are copper, made up of same material, but here the length is small and here the length is more. But resistance is depending on length, therefore resistance is less here, and in the second case the resistance is more. Okay, resistance is less in first case, in the second case the resistance is more. But coming to resistivity, resistivity of copper. Yes, what is resistivity of copper? That is 1.62 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter. So here what happens? Both the resistivity, both are made up of copper, therefore the resistivity is common for both the material. The same material it is, therefore both the wires are having same resistivity, because the first wire is also made up of copper and the second wire is also made up of copper. Resistivity is constant for copper. It is not depending on length. It is not increasing on length, or it is not increasing depending on the area of cross section. Okay, it depends on, resistivity depends on nature of the material, but resistance, it is depending on length, and also it depends on area of cross section. It may be of the same material, but it depends on length and area of cross section. So you all understood now the difference between resistance and resistivity, right? Resistance and resistivity is not the same. Resistivity depends on nature, where it is different for different material. Okay, but resistance, as the length increases, it may be of same material, copper. As the length increases, resistance increases, but resistivity is constant for both. Okay. Yes. Next, let us study how this Ohm's law graph, how it is denoted, graphical representation of Ohm's law. So here when we plot by the experiment, Ohm's law experiment, voltage and current, when we plot, we are going to get a slope of a graph which is represents the resistance of the conductor. The slope of this graph, if we take, we get the resistance, that is voltage divided by current. We are going to get, that is voltage divided by current is nothing but resistance. Okay, the slope of a graph which represents the resistance of a conductor. So there may be question, draw the graph of Ohm's law, graphical representation of Ohm's law for 2 marks. So you have to draw a slanted line from the origin. Okay, where you have to name, that is voltage and this is current. Yes, you have to remember this magic triangle so that it is easier for you to solve the problems, and you are easier to remember. It will be easy for you all to remember the formulas. Okay, so you will not get confused. Remember this magic triangle, where this triangle which consists of voltage V, electric current I, and resistance R. So write it in this way and take, that is Ohm's law magic triangle, where V, I, R. So now by eliminating one, you are going to get the formula. So we want voltage means, so what is the formula of voltage? That is I into R. So voltage V is equal to I into R. So if you want electric current I, that is V by R, and resistance R, that is V by I. In the next slide I'll show you. Okay, before going to that, quantities. You can see here the table. Quantity electric current, that is symbol I. What is the unit? Ampere. Abbreviation capital A. Voltage is denoted by the symbol V, or also in some textbooks it is denoted by E, and the unit is volt, and it is abbreviated by capital V. Resistance R, unit is ohm, and it is abbreviation is omega. It is read as omega. Okay. Yes. If you know, E means voltage. Okay. Voltage and electric current. If you want to determine the resistance R, so just see, you want resistance R. What is left here? R is equal to V divided by I. So if you eliminate R, what is the formula you are going to get? V by I. So determine resistance by using magic triangle. So that is R is equal to the remaining left thing that you are going to write here in the formula, that is V by I. If you know E and R, that is V, E means V. If you know V and R, you can determine electric current I. So I is equal to what happens? V divided by R. I is equal to V by R. Okay. So electric current, to determine electric current, just check out it. So you are going to get the formula, that is V divided by R. This is easy way of remembering the formula. So if you want voltage, if you wish to determine the voltage, so eliminate voltage and see what's left. So voltage V is equal to I into R. So V equal to I electric current, R resistance, I into R. Let's see how this equation might work to help us analyze simple circuits. So you can see here there is a simple circuit where there is a battery and electric lamp. Okay, so here battery is connected to the potential difference is applied through battery, and electric lamp is glowing. So if you know the values of any two of these three quantities, we can calculate the voltage or current or resistance in this circuit by using Ohm's law, okay, to determine the third one. Now let us see the problem. Calculate the amount of current I in a circuit given values of voltage V and resistance R. So you can see the electric circuit here where battery, that is voltage is 12 volt and resistance is given as 3 ohm. What we have to find? We have to find the current I. So you can see the magic triangle here. What we want? Electric current I. So I, if you just can eliminate I, what is remaining? V by R. So let us solve now. First you have to write what is given. That is resistance is given, that is 3 ohm. Next voltage is given, that is 12 volt. What you have to find? Electric current. So what is the formula? Electric current I is equal to here V by R. V by R. Just substitute V and R here. What is V? V is equal to 12 volt divided by what is resistance? 3. Yeah. So now 3 ones are 3, 3 fours are. So what is the electric current value which you have got? I is equal to 4. What it is? What is the unit of electric current? It is ampere. Therefore it is 4 ampere. Okay. Just see. Yes, in this electric current, how much electric current is flowing? That is 4 ampere of electric current is flowing in this electric circuit. This is how you have to solve by using the magic triangle. If you remember this easily, you can remember the formula. Okay. So next, let us see. Calculate the amount of voltage supplied by a battery given values of current I and resistance. So here resistance is given R equal to 7 ohm. Resistance of a electric bulb is given, that is 7 ohm, and current is given 2 ampere. We have to find the voltage of the battery. So let us write what is given. Current I is equal to 2 ampere. Next, resistance R is equal to 7 ohm. We have to find the voltage. So if you just eliminate voltage here, what is remaining? The equation becomes V equal to IR. Yeah, V equal to IR. So substitute I 2 ampere into resistance is 7. Therefore, voltage is 7 to the 14. So voltage V is equal to 14. What is the unit? You have to write always the unit. Therefore, it is volt. So voltage in this the voltage provided by this battery is equal to 14 volt. Okay, 14 volt of electric current. The potential difference is 14 volt. Here the battery connected is of 14 volt, where it gives a current of 2 ampere, right? So this is how we have to solve. Let us move on to the next example. Calculate the amount of resistance R in a circuit given value of voltage E and current I. So here voltage is given, current is given, resistance we have to find. To find resistance, eliminate resistance R. So what is the formula you are going to get? That is V divided by I. R is equal to V by I. So now let us write down what is given. First, current I is equal to 4 ampere and voltage is 36 volt. What we have to find? Resistance R you have to find. We don't know. Therefore, what is the formula? R is equal to V divided by I. So what is V? Substitute, that is 36 divided by 4. So how much it is? 9 ohm is the resistance of the bulb here. Okay. So here the resistance of this lamp is 9 ohm. Okay. This is how, by using the magic triangle, you can calculate easily the resistance or voltage or electric current by knowing the other two given things. Okay. So resistance is 9 ohm. Always remember you have to write the unit correctly. It also carries marks. Okay. Yes. If you know 2 of the 3 variables, you should be able to solve for the third one. When using Ohm's law, always use the 3-step form. That is, write the equation, replace the known values, solve the problem, and label with the correct unit of measurement. If you remember this, you can easily solve the problems of Ohm's law. So remember this magic triangle V, I, R. By eliminating which we want, you can get the formula. If you want the formula of voltage, just check it. The remaining things, that is I into R. If you want current, that is V by R. If you want resistance, that is V by I. So this is how this magic triangle is used to calculate the Ohm's law numericals. Yes, next there is one practice problem. You can see here. In a circuit, 0.5 ampere is flowing through the bulb. That means electric current is given as 0.5 ampere. Voltage across the bulb is 4 volt. What is the bulb's resistance? They are told to calculate the resistance. Therefore, voltage is given and electric current is given. So what happens? The formula, resistance we want. So resistance is V by I. Write the equation, R equal to V by I. Substitute, R equal to V is 4 volt and electric current is 5 ampere, 0.5 ampere. Substitute, solve it. So you are going to get it as 8. What is the unit? Just mention the unit, that is resistance unit is 8 ohm. Okay, this is how, by using this you are going to calculate easily. Next one, practice problem. You light a light bulb with a 1.5 volt battery. So voltage is given 1.5 volt. If a bulb has a resistance of 10 ohm, resistance R is given 10 ohm, how much current is flowing? You have to calculate current. Therefore, current I is equal to V by R. So, I equal to, remaining is V by R. Write the equation. Replace I is equal to V is 1.5 volt divided by resistance is 10 ohm. So, what happens? 1.5 divided by 10, which is equal to electric current I is equal to 0.15. It is, next you have to write 0.15 ampere, because the current unit is ampere. Okay, 0.15 ampere. Yes. Okay, you have understood the topic. I hope you understood about Ohm's law and resistance and numericals on Ohm's law. Okay, thank you.